In this video, I'm going to show you 26 marketing ideas and strategies you can use to take your e-commerce business to the next level. I'm also going to break this video down into different sections depending which stage of the journey you're at. So to begin with, we'll be talking about how you can start generating traffic even as a new e-commerce store. Secondly, we'll come on to how you can start generating more referral traffic and awareness for your business. Third, we'll come on to some strategies you can use to start increasing the amount of conversions and buyers from your website. And then lastly, I'm going to be showing you how you can start increasing the average order value and lifetime value of every customer you acquire. Let's get into it. So one of the first strategies you can use to start generating more organic traffic and visitors to your website is to create a blog. Now, blogs are incredibly underutilized in the e-commerce space, but they can be an incredibly effective way of bringing your target audience to your website. What you want to think about with any blog is who is your audience? Who are the people that you're looking to attract? Let's say, for example, you sell a product which is eco-friendly or sustainable. If you know that is the interest of your audience, you can start writing content and writing blogs that answer questions people might have about sustainability. If you do that, those blogs will become a magnet that can attract the right potential visitors to your website. And over time, if you stick with a consistent blog strategy, you can start generating thousands, if not tens of thousands of monthly visitors to your site each and every month. CRM company HubSpot generate over 10 million organic visitors to their site each month. Now, it's important to note that with blogging, this isn't going to be a quick win, and it's something that you need to stick at with consistency and perseverance. But if you do this and lay the strong foundations in the long term, you have an incredible opportunity to start growing your business over time. Now, the next strategy you can use when you're just starting out and looking to generate more traffic and awareness for your brand is to start looking for some strategic partners that you can collaborate with in order to build up that general awareness and start getting in some initial sales. The way you want to think about strategic partnerships is how can you make something a win-win? If you sell a product that is complementary to another product or another business you know, that can make for a great potential partnership. What you want to do when you're starting out is look for businesses who are just a little bit ahead of yours, so they're getting that initial traction, they've got some customer base and consistency there, but they're not too far ahead. And then what you can do is you can look at offering them maybe a commission for any sales they make. So if they promote your product to their mailing list, which again, if it's a complementary product, they probably have no problem doing because it's going to add value to their audience, and it can turn into a potential revenue stream for them as well. I noticed this with craft beer subscription company Beer 52 recently, where when you sign up for their free trial or one of their subscriptions, they have a lot of different product offerings at the end where they have affiliate links that lead to that product or that brand's website. Just remember, the key here is to make it and approach it from a win-win perspective. Instead of going into these strategic partnerships by asking people, make sure you go into it with the sense of what can I offer these people. Now, the next thing you can do is to start running some competitions that promote viral sharing. So for example, if you promote a competition and then people get additional entries for each person that they share it with, this has huge potential to go viral. However, it's worth saying here that this is really going to depend on what you're giving away. So this might involve giving away a lot of stock that you've got initially, or in some instances, it might even be worth investing in something like an iPad, a laptop, or something pricey that people are really going to value and want to win. There are a number of tools out there that will allow you to do this and to create competitions that are built from the ground up for shareability and virality, so that you can give people additional points for every action they take. For example, an additional point for liking your Facebook page, an additional point for liking your Twitter page, an additional point for sharing with their WhatsApp friends and family, etc. So it's really incentivizing people to promote your business far and wide, but at the same time giving them more chance to win that prize. Now, another thing you can do when you're just starting out, especially especially if you're solving a very specific pain or problem that people currently have, is to go into forums and groups and search for that problem that you solve and start answering people's questions and giving value. Now the key here is you don't want to go in there and just spam your product, because otherwise people are just going to ignore you. What you want to do is give as much value as you can, but where it's natural to do so, mention your product. This is another thing that's going to take time, but with consistency you can really start building up a loyal following here and getting those initial customers through the door. I spent just 10 minutes a day for 3 months straight answering questions on Quora, and my answers amassed over 100,000 views. And we also generated over £10,000 in revenue from Quora traffic as a traffic source. So don't underestimate this as a strategy. Now the next strategies I'm going to come on to around traffic generation are going to involve a little bit of budget. So if you've got some money that you're looking to invest in the business to get it started, these can be a great place to start getting those initial sales in. So the first one is media and list buying. And really what this is about is trying to find people, organizations, blogs, publications that already have your target audience. For example, if you're selling RC cars or remote control cars, a great place to try and partner with and do some media buys with is review sites that review RC cars, because this is going to allow you to get in front of a highly captive audience. This is such an underestimated strategy, where most people are thinking about how can I run ads on Google or Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, but there are going to be lots of sites out there who have a very specific and engaged following who could potentially become raving fans for your product. The best way to do this is literally just to think about who is your niche and audience, type that into Google and just put the word blog on the end and look for a whole list of blogs. You can then start reaching out to the owners of those blogs or the managers of the blogs and asking if there is any opportunity for promotion, sponsorship, or to run ads on their site. If these blogs also have email lists, let's say you find a blog that has an email list with 200,000 people on it, a lot of the time they will take sponsorship for that email list. So for a fee, you will be able to promote your product to their email list. And just imagine being able to email 200,000 of your ideal customers to get your brand out there. This is a great way to get in front of a highly specific audience when you're just starting out, and even if you're an established business at this stage. Now the next thing you can do is obviously start running paid ads, but the key to paid ads is you really want to try and over time build it into a full funnel strategy. So what that means is that you're not just running conversion based ads, but you're targeting people at each stage of the buyer journey. So let's say you have a product that helps people reduce stress. What you could do at the top of funnel is to run a video views campaign with a video that is giving people some ways on how to reduce stress. You have some big captions on it so it's very clear to people. You can then retarget people who have watched 50 or 75% or more of that video, so you know they were engaged with the message, then showing them your product and how it works. What you'll then want to do is retarget those people with some testimonials to add a bit of social proof, and then finally you can start using, if you have any, some user generated content, people unboxing your product to help build that excitement. This kind of full funnel approach is incredibly effective at building that trust over time and making people excited to receive your product, because otherwise if you're a new business, if you're a new product in the market, people just aren't going to have that trust to want to buy from you on that initial interaction. So when you do this, it will really help to give people the sense that you are a business to be trusted. Okay, so next let's talk about how you can start generating more referral traffic and getting people talking about your brand. So one of the best ways of getting referral traffic and building the awareness for your brand is through user generated content. This can also help you with any marketing or advertising that you're doing, because studies have shown that people are more than twice as likely to trust content that comes from third parties or your customers rather than the brand itself. Now, one of the best ways of getting user generated content is to incentivize or give people a reason to actually want to share what you offer. Now this is going to vary depending on your business and depending on your branding. Some products are inheritably more shareable than others. Take 𝐵𝐸 for example. They sell surprise confetti cards where it surprises the recipient with a little confetti explosion. These went viral and started trending on everyone's Instagram stories and Facebook stories, so it was a great way for them to build out awareness, even if they were to just send them out to people for free initially, because people would be sharing it with their friends, they'd be sharing it on their social media because they had a reason to do so, because it was fun. So if you have a product that facilitates that, encourage people to share. This can even go to the extent of putting something in the box, in the packaging, that reminds people to share it on social media, add it to their stories, so you get that additional coverage for your brand and for your product. Now, another thing you can do to start generating more referrals and getting more people talking about your business, even if you don't have a product that is particularly shareable in itself, is you can start doing things that in themselves are shareable. CD retailer CD Baby was a great example of this back in the day, when their founder decided to do something a little bit different and make this quirky, wacky thank you email for every customer that ordered from them. This thank you email was so wild that people would be sharing it every time they received it. And it's these kind of memorable experiences that you offer customers that give you huge potential to go viral and at least start getting some shares and generating more noise and more hype for your brand. Now, to build on that, the next way you can get people talking about your brand is just by doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way. Think about those things you can do that are going to make customers want to tell their friends about it or tell their family when they get home, because it was just such an unusual occurrence. This can be something as simple as calling your customers as soon as they have placed an order to personally thank them. It blows my mind how many business owners aren't willing to do this from some sense of pride, but when you think about it, those small gestures are exactly the kind of thing where people are going to go home, they're going to talk to their friends, their colleagues, their family and say, I ordered this thing the other day and the founder actually called me to thank me. This could even be something as simple as just sending out handwritten letters upon every order. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh yeah, but this isn't scalable. But if you're not at that stage yet and you still have the luxury to be able to, make 50 phone calls over the weekend or even during the weekdays when you're getting these orders coming in, it is well worth doing it. If you are at the stage where you have scale, you can maybe even look at hiring a team to do this if you start seeing the returns that come off the back of it. Another thing you can do is look at companies like Inkpact, who actually offer handwritten letter writing services where you can get letters sent out to every one of your customers who places an order that are going to be handwritten and are sure to leave an impact. And this is also the kind of thing with letters whereby people may well end up sharing it on social media because they're so impressed and surprised by the gesture. So now that you've started generating more traffic and awareness for the brand, we want to make sure that your website is actually optimized for conversions, so you're able to turn as many of those visitors as possible into potential sales and customers. This really comes down to creating a great experience for visitors, to building trust and getting people excited about what you actually have to offer. And one of the best ways to build trust is by using and implementing a benefits bar on your website. Now, benefits bar is just giving people those top level benefits as to why they should shop with you, and also removing any potential risk or doubts that that buyer may have in their mind. This can include things like refund policies, fast shipping availability, reviews, or any other USPs that your product or brand has. We've seen this have a significant impact on conversions on a number of websites now, so please do not underestimate how powerful of a strategy this can be. But the next thing you want to do when it comes to conversion rate optimization on your website is to think about what are the potential objections that your particular buyers might have. Now, this is going to look different for every business. For example, if you're selling clothes or fashion, people might have an objection around what if it doesn't fit me? So just something as simple as having a size guide on your website to give people that assurance can be the thing that nudges them over the line to buy, because you have to remember that if somebody is confused or they're left with any doubt or ambiguity in their mind when looking at your product, you are going to find it very difficult to get them to buy. So you really want to look at all of your product pages and your website objectively and ask yourself, are there any doubts that I would have if I didn't know this brand, this product? For example, if you're selling components to plumbers, let's say, there's a very good chance that they're going to need very quick and expedited delivery. They may even want to come in to collect what they're buying so they can get it to a job as soon as possible. Now, if you don't make it incredibly clear on your website that that is something that's available to them, you're going to end up losing them to a competitor who does make that more clear. So really make sure you think about this from the lens of your potential buyers. Now, the next thing you'll want to do is going to be getting reviews as much as possible, even if that means sending free products to friends or family or people you just know who would benefit from the product that you sell. When you're asking people for reviews, you also want to focus on what is the transformation that they have from your product. This is a really important piece to remember because people don't buy products, they buy the feelings that they get from products. They buy the transformation that a product gives to them. Whether that be feeling good about themselves, whether it be some form of physical transformation, whatever that product does, that's what people are buying into. So when you're asking for reviews, instead of getting reviews that just say, hey, this is a great product, try to ask people specific questions. What did they enjoy about your product? Because within that, you will find some golden nuggets. I genuinely believe one great review can have a monumental impact on your ability to shift what you're selling. For example, if you were selling an item of clothing and you got a review that said, I love this shirt, versus someone saying, this makes me feel so confident every time I go out, it's clear to see which one is going to have more impact on somebody who's potentially thinking about buying that thing. Now, another very quick win you can implement on your site to start increasing your conversions is by implementing some form of live chat. There are a number of free live chat tools out there, from things like Drift to crisp.chat. These allow you to just put a small bit of code on your website, which then allows you to have a live chat functionality. You can download an app on your phone and you can chat with your customers on the go. The reason live chats are so effective is because it gives people an opportunity to address or get an answer to potential fears, objections, or doubts that they have about your product. So do not underestimate the impact that adding a live chat to your site can make. Another thing you'll want to do is add some form of trust signals wherever possible. This can come in the form of social proof or just names or brands that people recognize. If you haven't been endorsed by companies or you haven't been featured in the press or anything like that, don't worry. Even something as simple as adding the card payments that you accept to your product page has been shown to significantly increase conversions. The reason being is because people then associate your company, your products, with trusted names. So this can come in many different forms, from companies that you're partnered with to review companies people recognize like Trustpilot, having their badges on your site, even just to having those card badges on your website can really help to kind of reinforce and build trust in people. Another thing you'll want to do to help increase conversions is to always use high quality images wherever possible. This is especially important if you're selling any kind of clothing item or something that people buy for aesthetic reasons, because people want to see and to understand how it's going to feel. In the absence of being able to see that item in person, people want to know what the texture is like, how it might feel in their hands. So it's really important that you offer the functionality for them to be able to zoom in on that product, but also that you have images that will hold up under close scrutiny. Now, your checkout process is another incredibly important piece to increasing your conversions. Abandoned cart rates can be anything from 40% all the way up to 80% sometimes. The way you want to think about this is to reduce friction for the buyer. For example, we've seen instances where having a long form checkout page where you're asking for all of the checkout information on a single page versus using a multi-step checkout can actually more than double conversions. We've done this on a number of websites now where we've run split tests. So 50% of the traffic will see one checkout, 50% will see another, and we consistently see more than double the conversions on those checkouts that break it down into individual steps. The reason this is because it's taking away that perceived effort for customers. You have to think about this. If somebody sees lots and lots of forms to fill out, they're naturally going to think to themselves, oh, I don't have time to do this right now. This looks like too much effort. Whereas if you break it up into steps and make it look easier for people, they're much more likely to complete that transaction. Another thing you can do at the checkout process is adding reviews and those trust badges again to the checkout page to give people that assurance that they're making the right decision. Because it's usually when people get to the checkout when they start having those last minute fears and doubts. So whatever you can do to build up that confidence and assurance is going to help you start increasing the conversions that you're actually making. Now, one final point I will say here on increasing your conversions, and this is going to depend on your business model, but if you are a business who only has one core product and you're thinking about adding lots and lots of different products to increase your chances of selling, please do not fall into this trap, because if anything, it is going to make it harder for you. You will find that products or single product stores can have extremely high conversion rates, sometimes up to 15 or 20%, whereas multi-product stores that are selling lots of things will generally have much lower conversion rates, maybe around 2, 3 or 4% on the higher end. This is simply because you're offering people more choice. The more choice you offer people, the less likely they are to make a decision there and then, because they're going to stumble across decision fatigue. We actually had a client recently who had one core product, but they sold lots of ancillary products as well. And they actually had about 8 or 9 items in their menu header where they were selling these ancillary products. We asked them to remove those menu items from the header menu so people couldn't see them, and their conversions more than doubled as a result of doing this. So do not underestimate the impact that keeping things simple can make. Now, the final thing we're going to talk about is how you can start increasing not only the lifetime value of your customers, but also the average order value for every customer who comes into your store. So firstly, one of the best ways to increase your lifetime value is through consistent email marketing. Now, the important thing with email marketing is just to bear in mind, why did people sign up to you? Why did they buy your product in the first place? Is it because you sell beautiful things? Is it because you have a fun and quirky brand? Whatever that thing is, or whatever that reason is that people come to you, lean into that with your email campaigns. Don't be afraid to entertain people, to give value to people. If all you're doing in your emails is promoting and selling your product, people are very quickly going to get bored. So you want to try and mix up the emails and the kind of emails that you're sending out to people, make it fun, make it entertaining, make it value driven, and your sales will start increasing. You're also going to keep your brand front of mind for when people do want to buy again. Now, depending on the type of product you're selling, you may also be in a position to offer subscriptions. So this can be a great way to give people an incentive to commit to buying your product on a weekly, monthly basis, or whatever it is. This can be something as simple as offering a subscription on the product page level where people can click and they can save by committing to buying every single month, maybe by offering 5% or 10% off when they commit to a subscription plan. This is incredibly important because the more lifetime value in a customer you can build, the more you can spend to profitably acquire that customer up front. And that's going to make it much easier for you with any marketing or advertising efforts you have, without having to worry about every single penny, because your margins are so tight and people are only ever buying from you once. Another way of doing this, if you've got a bit of budget behind you, is to run retargeting campaigns to your existing customers with specific offers or messages to those loyal customers to bring them back to your store. And again, this just helps to keep your brand front of mind. Another thing you can also do is to start going beyond just selling products. The sports clothing brand Gymshark is a great example of this. They've worked incredibly hard over the years to build much more than just products and clothing, and they've really focused on building a community. This is something that goes beyond just selling a product and allows people to promote and start talking about the brand. They also run events all over the world that bring that community together. So if you are doing something that you're particularly passionate about, you're looking to have an impact, really think about how you can just go beyond product marketing, because this is going to help increase the amount of times customers are coming back to buy from you, and it's also going to help increase that overall awareness of the brand as well. Now, to increase your average order value, this really just comes down to thinking about your website like a potential salesperson as if you were in a store. For example, if you're selling clothing again and you're selling a handbag, think about things that would go really well with that handbag and offer them as upsells or cross-sells, and make it personalized as well. For example, you can have pop-ups and messages that say, hey, do you know what would look great with that handbag? These 2 pairs of shoes. The more personalized you can make this, the more chance you've actually got of securing that upsell. If you're just trying to promote random products and services to people, you're probably just going to annoy people more than increasing your average order value. Now, the final strategy that's really going to help you start increasing the average order value is to utilize what are called order bumps and one-click upsell pages. These are an extremely powerful way of getting people to buy more or to buy additional products because of where you put them. Now, order bumps are something that will go on the checkout page, and it will offer people something that they can just tick a box to add to their order. The reason this is so effective is because by this point, people have already committed and pulled out their credit card. So the hard part is over. So all they need to do now is to tick a box to add an additional item to their order. If you can create a one-time exclusive discount on that product at the checkout, it also adds a bit of urgency because people are scared that they're maybe not going to see that offer again. The other way of doing this is through a one-click upsell page. So this would be that when somebody has checked out on that initial item, they've already put in their card details, they've paid, they would then get a single page that says, hey, how about adding 5 more of these to your order for just X amount more, or how about this additional product for a special one-time exclusive discount. And because people have already put in their card details, they can literally just click one button to add that to their order. This is a very, very powerful way to increase the average order value on every single cart you are getting into your site. So there you have it, guys. I really hope that video's helped and you found it valuable. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below as to which one of these strategies you're going to be applying today. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and you'll want to stick around for the next video because I'm going to be showing you a tool you can use to start advertising on other businesses' sites for free. I'll see you there.